Hey guys, hello and welcome to another installment of Vince and Films. My name is Vincent and I'm still living in Paris, so I'm trying to break the record of most films seen in a cinema in 1 year. Today is day 266, the end of week 38, and I'm now at 557 films seen in cinemas in 1 year since March 23rd, 2017. Now I know that I might have made some confusion, some mistakes in regards to the numbers last week because I changed the start date from March 16th to March 23rd. So I had to erase 14 films and change the number of the week, the number of the day, etc. But I'm certain now that we are day 266, week, or the end of week 38, and I am officially, at least in my book, at 557 films seen. And this week has been very dark in a sense because I didn't see many of the new releases because there weren't many or they weren't really interesting to me, and I tried to avoid them. And instead I went to the Christine 21 and the École 21 cinemas in order to watch films of the black and white periods, which were noir films with Humphrey Bogart, among other things. Otto Preminger films, Howard Hawks, and I discovered Lauren Bacall, who is a very beautiful and interesting actress, I thought. I saw her in, I don't remember the first one I saw her in, but the last one was To Have and Have Not with Humphrey Bogart, which was a very good film. But I think the best film I saw this week was The Blast of Silence, directed, acted by Baron Allen, if I'm not mistaken. Takes place, was shot in the 60s. It's a black and white film that takes place in New York and was advertised as being one of Martin Scorsese's favorite films of or about New York. And I understand, because this film is what one would call very efficient. It's only 1 hour and 17 minutes long, but it feels like even less, and it is very entertaining, very simple in its construction, because you basically just follow. It takes place over a period of 3 days during the Christmas time, and you have this hired killer who comes back to New York after having gone away for a while, and he comes back simply in order to execute one last contract. After that, he wants to probably retire, you never know really. And so you have him coming back to this place he doesn't really like in this period of time. He doesn't really like with all the festivities, and so it's the story of him hunting his prey of the contract, meeting people from his past, trying to find the perfect spot, getting to know the victim, because like he said, you need to know the victim better than a friend would know him. And I mean, I'm just paraphrasing, I'm just trying to summarize what was said in the film. It was much better written. And so it is very thrilling, and with the kind of gangster vibe, because what I thought about watching this film is that in the 40s, 50s, you had films about the 20s, 30s, about those gangsters from the Prohibition era who did illegal things like sell alcohol and organize illegal games. And those people at the time in the 20s and 30s, they were new, they were farmers, they came from very poor environments, or just not necessarily cities, and so they didn't really know how to behave, how to be these outlaws, and so they knew how to behave, or they took examples on the actors who showed them how to act like gangsters, or what Hollywood thought gangsters were supposed to act like was what gangsters in the end acted like. So that was interesting, and I think that a film like A Blast of Silence, it was shot in the 60s and takes place at the time, but it shows again what an image one had of these gangsters. And it's very, like I said, it's a film definitely to watch, but this week was covered, and it's still covered by Star Wars The Last Jedi, because even though it came out today in France and I think the UK as well, maybe tomorrow, in any event before it comes out in the United States, I still haven't watched it, and I'm not going to watch it tomorrow. I'm going to watch it on Friday night, and I'm very excited to see it and very impatient. So, well, I can tell you for sure now that next week we are going to talk about Star Wars The Last Jedi. But that's it for today. Thanks for watching. I wish you a good day, a good evening. Salut.